Mike Krzyzewski. What makes him special? Next. Welcome to the revamped On the Daily, presented by Cole Sports. I'm Cole Johnson. Thank you for joining me, and I'm glad to be back. And a little bit new on the format, same old routine and same old content coming at you the way we come at you. And I want to focus today on Mike Krzyzewski, the 42-year head coach of the men's basketball team of Duke University. There's something special about him, and many players have said otherwise. I'm sorry, many players have actually said things to the affirmative. There's very few in the detractors form of the opinion, but what makes him special? So I want to break it down on the list. All right, so here we go. The 5 reasons why Mike Krzyzewski is and is an absolute credit to the world of basketball. The first one is he took the lessons of one of his mentors, which was Bob Knight, and he sort of made it his own. So he polished it off a little bit. He wasn't as rough around the edges as Knight was. And he decided to take a group of young men and make them more mature men if they were to actually stay in his program 3 and 4 years once they left Duke. Now, of course, they get to sell the thought of this is a highly academic school. This is the Stanford of the East. We actually compete with the Northwesterns of the world and Harvards of the world and the Princetons of the world. But what we have and what we're going to build is going to be a bigger, better basketball program than all of those individual universities that I just named. So that is what he set out to do, and he was hugely successful. I would say 12 Final Fours, countless ACC tournament victories, countless ACC tournament titles, countless ACC regular season conference titles, 5 national championships. And he might walk out with his 6th. I don't think so, but he might. You never know. What I do know is that we are dealing with a guy who knows what it takes to be a champion. He knows what it takes to win, and he knows what it takes to be a man. Not just to be a good basketball player, he knows what it takes to be a man. Which brings me to my number 2 point. He treats his program like family. Now, we know that he has been married for many decades to his wife. He has 3 daughters, and he has, I believe, 10 grandchildren now. So family is a huge, important part of Mike Krzyzewski's life. What we have actually had to learn over the course of time is that he built this program to be the same resemblance as his family, that he treats them and regards them like family, that he looks at these young men as his sons, and he coaches them as if he's their father. Not saying that he wants to take their place, not saying that he rules over them, much like or even more so than the fathers that all these basketball players may have. No. I'm saying that he's providing to be a father figure in a way that probably their fathers really didn't teach them. Look, I personally have a wonderful father, and he taught me a lot of things. And there's not been a greater teacher as a man in my entire life than my father. But I'd be lying to you if I said every lesson that I learned how to be a man came from my father. No. Some come from my mother. Some came from my grandmother. Some came from my football coaches. Some came from when I was in the military. And some have come when I've been an adult. So You can get other influences and be taught different things as to how to be a man by different voices and different influences. Mike Krzyzewski has that type of influence. And to make no bones about it, he's a wonderful teacher of basketball, but more importantly, of life. Number three, he is in charge of an academic university. Yeah, I should say he's in charge of a program of an academic university. So you know that academics means a lot to him if he's in a program where the school pushes academia being important. Obviously, we hear Coach Krzyzewski, Coach K is a smart man, so we know that he has brilliance. If I'm not mistaken, he came up in the army. It came up in the the school of the army, and along with it, he learned a lot of discipline. He learned a lot of intelligence, and he learned a lot of strategy. Those things that you learn carry forward, and the lessons that you get, in my estimation, I played football, so for me it would be on the gridiron. But in Coach K's case, on the court. So the lessons that he taught on the court could easily be taught off of it. And I'm sure many times it was taught off of it. Many lessons were taught to basketball players, both in his program and not in his program, that was off the clock, so to speak, that he wasn't coaching a team, that he was just trying to get the best out of them. This brings me to point number four, and that is he cared about the individual. I heard a story from Jay Williams, one of the alum of Duke and one of Mike Krzyzewski's greatest players. And this was during his time when he was in the NBA. He said that he was in crypto.com arena, which used to be called Staples Center. He was getting ready to work out, and he saw that Coach Krzyzewski was coaching up and preparing and getting ready for battle, one Kobe Bean Bryant. So Jay says that he went on with his workout for an hour, and that after he finished that workout, he sat and witnessed another 30 minutes or so Kobe working out some more. So he said after that game, even though he thought that Kobe would be cooked because Kobe went hard for roughly 2 hours, but Kobe basically just destroyed. I think he was playing for the Bulls at the time. Kobe just destroyed the Bulls that night. Jay actually went to Kobe and asked, he said, well, why is it that you went hard in practice as you did? And Kobe's really plain and brutally honest answer was, I saw you there and I knew I had to show you that I was willing to outwork you and demonstrate that. Jay went on to say that that was one of the biggest lessons, one of the hallmark lessons that Krzyzewski taught. That no matter who you go up against, you outwork everybody who is your opponent. That there is no exceptions. There is no days off. You work harder than every other opponent that you have. Which, of course, brings you to the last point. His lessons are universal, and his presence is universal. I don't have to mention Christian Leitner or Bobby Hurley or Jay Billis or Jay Williams, as I mentioned, or Grant Hill. Or I don't even have to mention the one and done, such as Kyrie Irving or Zion Williamson. I don't have to mention the litany of Duke names that Mike Krzyzewski coached. I just mentioned Dwayne Wade. Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, Kevin Durant. I could mention those names because he also was the coach of the Redeem team and I think a couple of other teams too that went on to win gold. And the lessons that he imparted upon them were innumerable and immeasurable. And the biggest lesson that he taught them was communication, that effort, that defense, that fighting for that every inch means that you participate in being a willing teammate. No matter if you're the first man or the 15th man, you must be part of a team. That was the biggest lesson that Mike Krzyzewski taught. And it didn't matter if you were 18 or if you were 35. He taught every basketball player willing to listen that the art of being great is tapping within yourself and including the teammates along for the ride. And isn't that fitting for how life is? Because that's how family is. He's a great man. And in the 42 years that he roamed the sidelines of Cameron Indoor Stadium, he left an indelible imprint on many of us who didn't go to school at Duke University. Left an imprint on many of us who didn't even set foot in Durham, North Carolina. But that is the most important thing. He left a mark. Or I should say, in third base is a product of the environment. He left more than a mark, he left a dent. And I'm so glad that Coach K left such a dent in the world of basketball. He would be missed, but man, do we have the memories. And do we have a wonderful man to commemorate all of them? Well, that is my take on Coach K. What is yours? I want to hear what you have to say. Like this video and share it throughout all your social media. Comment below because I want to hear what you have to say. And don't forget, hit that notification bell and hit that subscribe button to get every content that we can give you from Cole Sports. That could be on the daily, the mothership, upon further reviews, anything. Whatever this channel provides, we'll give it to you. Well, that's all the time I have. I'm Cole Johnson, and I thank you so much for joining me. This has been yet another installment of Cole Sports on the visual and on the daily. See you tomorrow.